All right, hello everybody. Hope you're doing good. Had a good Saturday. It is currently 8:36 p.m. on your Saturday night. Let's get started with the outlook, and we do have some severe weather expected. So let's take a look at the individual hazards here. Severe weather outlook, of course, showing the enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms there, mainly in northwest Alabama around the Florence area, and extending just a little bit to the south of that. Elsewhere to the east, looks like there's a level 2. That's a slight risk of severe thunderstorms for northeast Alabama, including Gadsden, Birmingham, Jackson, DeKalb counties, Marshall counties. Now let's move on to the severe wind outlook. That's going to be valid Sunday, March 30th, 2025, of course. Looking at that, highest risk of damaging winds will be along and west of I-65, anywhere from Huntsville to Florence. Looks like a 30% chance of that, and that's actually high, pretty high up. That's why it's in the red, and it's also in a hatched area. Very concerning. So there could be some destructive winds, also destructive tornadoes. Some of them could be, rather long track in that area. Elsewhere in the 15% risk, DeKalb, Jackson, Marshall counties, that's areas east of I-65, also Gadsden, Birmingham, areas in that, and areas further south, the 5% risk around Troy, Alabama. Now let's move on to the severe hail outlook for Sunday. Looks like 5% risk for northeast Alabama and along I-65, anywhere from Huntsville to Decatur to Florence. They're in that 15% risk area, which is just a bit higher up. Now let's look at the tornado outlook. 15% hatched risk area for around, let's say, Decatur, Florence area to the northwest. There is a hatched risk there. 15% risk of tornadoes. Some of those could be strong, long track tornadoes to the northwest. Moving along I-65 around Huntsville, Birmingham areas, even into northeast Alabama, 5% risk. Moving down a little further around Gadsden, Talladega areas, 2% risk. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this system. Of course, hazards, damaging wind, tornadoes, flash flooding, and large hail, all a possibility with this. So let's look at the hazards a little bit more in depth here. So here's a severe weather outlook for Sunday, of course. Wind gusts 60 to 65 miles per hour. That's on the rather high side. A tornado or two in our area, it's on the lower side. Hail, 1 to 2 inch of diameter. Believe it or not, it's in the higher up, something you don't see very often. Main hazards, looks like they come in late Sunday night through Monday morning for our area. Of course, that level 3 enhanced risk is going to extend anywhere from Huntsville to the west. It has extended a little bit further east from the past outlook, but northeast Alabama mainly being in that level 2 slight risk of some severe thunderstorms. Now let's move on and look at Monday's outlook. Of course, that will be showing of course, marginal risk for northwest Alabama, level 1, and a slight risk, level 2, for northeast Alabama. Now, it looks like that's the main timing for northeast Alabama will be as it comes through. It'll be in the morning hours on Monday. Lower threat of course, tornadoes, but wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Kind of medium confidence there. Tornado or two, lower confidence, but not zero. Hail up to 1 inch of diameter, lower confidence. So by the time we get into Monday morning, we expect it to die down just a little bit. It'll still be something we have to watch. So looking at the timing again, we'll look at, of course, the National Weather Service timing here. 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. most likely. That'll be Florence and Russellville area. Anywhere around level the 2 here around Huntsville and Coleman areas, 3 a.m. to 5. And then the 3 would be Stevenson, Fort Payne, Crossville, northeast Alabama, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Monday. So let's look at some of that important information here. Of course, thunderstorm development to our west Sunday afternoon and evening, potentially creating a localized area of increased severe probabilities. Low-level wind shear and increase would result in a higher tornado risk. Still monitoring timing of greatest severe threat from Sunday afternoon through Monday morning. The trend continues to be for a slower arrival and departure of the system, so it has slowed down a bit compared to the last models. And we'll also move on. Take a look at Wednesday. There is another threat of severe thunderstorms Wednesday. Very limited, but this one could be one of the bigger systems. Just saying, there's a possibility. Looking at the outlook models and stuff, this one could be one of the stronger systems that we've had. So, again, possibility. either way, maybe not scenario. It is something that we will watch, but severe storms will be possible during the day into the evening Wednesday. Confidence in timing for greatest severe threat very low. So a lot of uncertainties with that. So let's move on to rainfall totals. Rainfall totals between now and Sunday, so that's a pretty good time period. Now to Sunday, we could see 1 to 2 inches, maybe higher in northeast Alabama, with higher amounts to the northwest and along I-65, 2 to 3 there. It's going to depend on where this heaviest bands develop, and again, not really confident with this model, to be honest with you. I think it may be undermining a little bit, but we'll just have to see how far east we can get some of that heavier moisture to move in, and we'll see what happens from there. But that's all I've got for tonight. Thanks for watching, and of course, we'll wrap it up here with our sponsor, Mr. Dylan Snyder. For all your real estate needs, give him a call at 256-979-4330, and also check him out on Facebook as well. And our secondary sponsor will be RKG Automotive Group. For more information, you can give them a call at 256-572-6586, and also give them a check on Facebook as well. Go check them out. All right, everybody, wrapping it up for tonight. Got a little bit of a cold going on, so didn't really feel like doing a live. So just wanted to do a video, get the information out, make everybody aware. So thanks again. God bless, and we'll see you on the next update. Take care.